Good morning and welcome to my first sailing ramble. And this is post sailing. I have been gone for a couple weeks for the holidays. And honestly, all I've been doing is really just AFK salvaging. In fact, I guess for this ramble, I'll just briefly bring this up. We have hit 88 sailing, and almost all of that was through AFK salvaging. I got soup. There's going to be many more rambles incoming because I do want to talk a lot about sailing. I don't know if I should share this right now. I like sailing, believe it or not. I do like sailing as a skill. It's great. I also got a dragon cannon barrel, which is crazy. I was just showing this on stream. And yeah, so 88 sailing with that. That's crazy because it is confirmed to 1 in 20,000, as we'll see in the blog post in a second. But I just want to share straight off. I love sailing. Like it. No, I like it. No. I do love sailing. It truly feels just like it was meant to be in this game. I'm very, very impressed with what the devs have created, and there's a lot more to share on that. But first, we have to cover the sailing XP and further review. So let's get into this. I also will state right now, is just sharing this with the live stream that will be in the chat right now, and they will be sharing their perspective on sailing, because again, like, I've just been kind of browsing Reddit. I haven't really made many posts yet. I haven't really had too strong of opinions on most things as of right now. So you guys share your strong opinions, and then you might sway me into joining your view. You know what I mean? Just like I do for you guys. You guys just blindly follow me, right? All right, I got the Nick, it's so good to have you, man. And what up, Alan? How we doing, dude? All right, let's jump into this. Pull up a chair and hold on to your crystal extractors, because this week's update features a whole host of sailing tweaks and improvements alongside some hefty XP balancing changes. Cool. Do we just click this and skip everything? Nah, we will. I want to read this. I want to give the full perspective of why they're doing the things they're doing. Sailing XP changes. You've read the news post's title, you've seen the panicked memes about the crystal extractor being thrown overboard, and you've undoubtedly got thoughts of your own regarding sailing's XP balancing. We've been reading all over, watching your journeys, and working with our data analysts to get a real sense of how players are progressing through sailing, where the common pain points are, and areas that might harm our ability to expand the skill with further training methods. With all of that combined, we feel like we're ready to make some tweaks to sailing XP. As you might expect, balancing an entire skill, especially one as broad as sailing, is complex, and we are under no illusions that we'd get it absolutely perfect right out of the gate. That means that while there are some buffs in today's update, there are a handful of nerfs. We need sailing to make sense long term. It's not an update for everybody to blitz through in a week or two and never touch again. That's pretty much what it's been. We hope that you're able to meet us halfway. Over the course of years, it's important that sailing remains relevant, interweaving properly with old school's complex web of progression, and has space for additions to the skill at all level ranges. So while we appreciate that nobody likes a nerf, we hope that you're able to meet us halfway and appreciate that we need to fine-tune things with longevity in mind rather than a rush to the finish line. It's also important to make clear that we're not going to get it perfect with these changes either. Sailing has a lot of room to grow and evolve, and balancing changes are something that we'll keep iterating on by working with the community's feedback, pairing it up with our own analytics, and trying to get things just right. We know that there's a lot we still need to polish up with sailing, so before the end of the year, we'll be putting together an in-game opinion survey using our fancy new polling system to gather your thoughts on a whole host of hot topics. While we're doing our best to prioritize working on what's important to ensure smooth seas for our new sailors, we know that there's a lot of feedback out there from all of you and more changes that we'd like to see. So we'd like to really drill down into the details and fully develop our understanding of your feedback so we can make sure we deliver. This list isn't exhaustive, but you can expect to see questions on things like ship combat. What are the biggest pain points? Are there quick wins and small fixes that would improve the feel alongside more long-term adjustments? How to resource availability and unique drop rates, more on those below. Factor in overall enjoyment here. Deep sea trawl, by the way, on the ship combat, somebody on Reddit pulled up this beautiful, or he just was saying, why do cannons feel so shitty? And they are shitty. I mean, I think the main theme of his post was just cannons should just do way more damage, and the sea monster should have way more HP. Just your cannon feels like it's this hefty cannonball hitting your fucking throat, you know? What am I saying? No, but seriously, like, it would have been so cool if like steel cannonballs retained that 30 HP or the 30 damage that steel cannonballs can already do, you know, in normal cannons on land, and then made it so like mithril cannonballs do 50, addies do 70, rune do 90, or what, you know, going upwards, so it feels like you're just smacking massive numbers. That would have felt so much better than hitting a fucking 12 with like a steel cannonball or whatever. Yeah, so I like that. Anyway, we'll continue. Deep sea trawling, is it appropriate, rewarding for effort required? Is the fish output in a good spot? Is the XP output in a good spot? XP rates, how is the balance of the skill sitting overall? How do today's changes impact your view of the skill's balance and progression? Drop rates, how does the time to complete or time to obtain for various resources feel? How would adjustments to ship combat shift perspectives here? Pain point prioritization, which of the tougher things for us to fix should we get to first? Iron and Ultimate Iron concerns, what unique challenges do players of these account types face? What changes can we make to reduce frustration while still respecting the spirit of his game modes? What about Settled's new game mode, sailing only mode? Come on. And loads more. All right, cool. With all of that feedback to look forward to in the near future, let's bring your attention back to now. Before we dive into specifics on the changes we're looking to make today, we've got a quick refresher on where we expect each different sailing activity to sit alongside each other with regards to XP per hour and viability as training methods. Barracuda trials, number one, are the most intensive and skill-based training method and should remain at the top so long as you're at an appropriate level, meaning the temper tantrum shouldn't still be dominating your training if you're already level 50 sailing, for example. Their downside is that the XP gained is fairly static and only really scales up with boat speed and player skill, so it plateaus with player skill and incrementally with boat upgrades. This allows training methods unlocked at later levels to eventually surpass them. You can see this effect across the entire skill, where once a new trial is reached, every other method starts gaining higher XP to try and keep up. Courier port tasks are the bread and butter and baseline for all sailing XP and should be relevant for most of their sailing journey. They are not likely to be the highest XP earners for most level brackets, but may have their time to shine in level brackets between trial unlocks. Salvaging is primarily an AFK method, allowing players to earn loot while gaining XP. It's aimed to be very second monitor friendly, very much is, with the option to participate in tick manipulation methods for those inclined for even greater returns in XP. Tick manipulation salvaging without sorting the salvage should be a reasonably competitive option. Below Marlin rank Barracuda trials for those who prefer this type of training, though we'll never balance this method specifically around tick manipulation since we understand it has a reasonably niche appeal. Bounty port tasks are a way to train sailing via combat, but are intentionally not trying to be competitive XP provider, as we like to keep sailing focused around non-combat training instead of making it a combat skill. These provide a reasonable option for those who wish to seek out rare sea creature drops while gaining some sailing XP on the side. Deep sea trawling is a fishing and sailing hybrid training method primarily focused around obtaining valuable fish, which you cannot get anywhere else in the game. This is not a significant XP driver in order to keep the price of the fish high and should instead be considered as a reasonably high or as a reasonable way for high-level fishers and sailors to earn money as a reward for training their skills. Finally, with the core sailing training methods, we have a philosophy that level is king. As a rule of thumb, higher level unlocks should always try to award more XP than lower level unlocks as a baseline before then, considering the intensity of the method. All right, time for some specifics. Drop anchor and take a seat. There's a lot to cover. Crystal extractor. Oh God, who was upset about this when we saw it? I actually have like many weird feelings about this thing. It really did feel like one of those mobile games where it's like stay active every minute, like click the thing every minute, you know. It kind of feels like that. I'm not a huge mobile game, not at all actually, but it gave me that vibe. But the more I did it and the more I felt this impending doom of it getting nerfed, the more I was like, I like this. You know, like I didn't even like it, but now I'm like doubling down, like I like it because I have it, you know what I mean? It's so weird how we as players do that. Like we are so selfish when it comes to updates. And I really do try to remain unbiased. And here I'm going to try that, but I truly did feel this little like stab to the gut and a twist, you know, just like it hurt to see. We'll start with arguably the most contentious part of sailing's XP balance, the crystal extractor. This innocuous unlock has sparked a lot of conversation and has, in a sense, warped the majority of Sailing's progression around it. By the way, did I even do this drink review? Fuck, I think I've already done this. This is a Juneberry Red Bull. It's good. For those not in the know, the Crystal Extractor is a boat facility that you can build at 73 Sailing. For your troubles in roughly 2 million GP, you gain a facility which generates a wind wave moat every 60 seconds, granting 600 Sailing XP. By the way, when I got this, I was still doing like pirate salvaging or something beforehand. Or yeah, I think it was pirate salvaging. And I still had recalled from the last time I was on the PC playing Sailing, like your 59 XP drops for doing a full ass fucking courier task. And then you just click a thing and you get 600 XP. It just felt so game breaking. But I was like, I like this. I will share a story potentially of how painful this thing was to get. You know, I have to get the little, what's that thing called? Heart of Ithel to even make this thing. Try doing a mobile only blind on hotel Wi-Fi shark rank on Gwyneth Clyde with a shitty boat. It was horrible. That took me like 2 days to fucking get. Not like 48 hours, but 2 like days of playing. It was so bad. It's so awful. It takes 3 ticks, 1.8 seconds to harvest, or 4 ticks if you count the time it takes to interact with the extractor. Meaning that for the time you're actually interacting with the extractor, your effective XP per hour is around 1.2 million. In effect, the single most valuable thing that you could possibly be doing if there's a moat ready to be harvested is clicking on your crystal extractor, which adds up to an additional 34,000 XP per hour for players paying enough attention to click once per minute. Our initial expectations for the extractor were for it to close the gap between lower intensity activities such as a port task or shipwreck salvaging and in higher intensity activities like the Barracuda trials. Earlier in development, the interaction time on the extractor was longer than it is now, and it had to be placed further away from the helm. So we balanced it, expecting that players would be less willing to pull away from the helm in order to harvest wind moats. As you might have guessed, the sheer volume of posts around the crystal extractor throughout the community, this isn't quite the case, so we feel changes are needed. Having said all that, we appreciate that many sailors are enjoying keeping on top of their extractor and weaving their harvest in between actions, so we're not looking to completely gut it or remove emergence from you all. We'll be reducing the XP per harvest from 600 XP to 250. Fuck. This means that you can earn roughly 14,000 XP per hour from your crystal extractor rather than 34,000. This is a sizable nerf, but one that we think is necessary and one we'd like to compensate with XP boosts at certain points throughout progression. More on that later. We think this still makes harvesting from the extractor worthwhile with an effective 500,000 XP per hour while interacting with it. But means we have more freedom to balance other activities appropriately since we're not having to account for a flat 34,000 XP per hour on top of everything, which makes scaling things up or down a little tougher. Alongside this change, we're making an improvement to the crystal extractor, which will allow it to generate charges even while you're at a port until you've been disembarked, meaning running around on land for around 10 seconds or so. This means that if you're quick, you can pick up a deposit cargo and make it back in time for the XP, in time to keep the XP flowing without interruption. Before we dive into specific activities, we'll say that we're not planning on any XP changes to Barracuda Trials, since we're already taking a hit as a result of the crystal extractor changes. We're happy with where the XP from trials will sit alongside other options without any further adjustments, and we're constantly seeing players push the limits here, exploring options like allowing for natural trimming moments, and new, more optimal routes are always being discovered to push XP even further. That does make sense. Listen, on the crystal extractor, how would you guys feel if, you know, they're gonna probably go with this? I feel like they're even doing a bigger hit on the nerf because they're gonna like barter with us, you know? I feel like if they were just to say like 400 XP, then we'd all be upset and then we wouldn't get our way. Like we wouldn't. I think they're going 250 and then like a week later they're gonna bump it back up to like 400. That's what I expect. So then it feels like we just got a buff even though we just got a nerf. Who knows, actually? But listen to this. How would you guys feel? This just came to my mind. How would you guys feel if it was 250 XP like they're proposing, but if you don't hit it immediately, it continues to trickle a little bit more XP? So not another 250 the next minute, but the next minute maybe it gains another 100 XP up to a cap of what it originally was, 600. So at the end of like, 3 minutes, if you're like full AFK for 3 minutes, your extractor would continuously build And then when you actually finally hit it, you do get like a 500 XP drop for having waited longer, but it's still not worth it. So if you are paying more attention, clicking it every minute would still be worth it. You know what I mean? But then it doesn't feel like super bad if you don't click it every single fucking minute on a queue, you know? How would you guys feel about that? If it continued to gain at a slower interval every second that passes pretty much, or every minute that passes, it would just slowly gain. So it'd be like 250, and then it would gain another 150 the next minute. So it'd be like 400 after 2 minutes. And then the next minute would only be like 75. So it's like 475 after like 3 minutes, you know, something like that. How would you guys feel? Anyway, crystal extractor can go, honestly, not the point of it. Listen, the crystal extractor, as I said, did feel very mobile game-ish, but people like it. I think it's okay where they put it. Makes it somewhat inefficient to leave a salvage to pop it. Still good for passive XP while sailing racing. Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. So I'm not like the most, you know, I could be convinced one way or another. I just need some more like advanced sailors in here to explain to me what are the pros and cons. So we'll continue that later. But if you guys have any suggestions, leave it down. And we are live right now, so this will all be on the ramble. So don't say anything that's going to embarrass you, because this video is permanent forever. For the next 10 years, everyone's going to go back to this video and see your stupid comment. No, your guys' comments are not stupid. Everybody's favorite delivery driver simulator. What is this? Port tasks. Oh, God. Port tasks are supposed to be a medium intensity method that sits between shipwreck salvaging and the Barracuda trials, offering a comfortable midpoint in XP per hour. While we expect there are still discoveries to be made in order to maximize the efficiency of tasks like this, particularly with the so-called ABA tasks, which you can learn more about in these videos from West Ham and Cribis. West Ham sailing? Yeah, see, this is how out of date I am. Well, isn't he supposed to be PKing people? Who's Cribis? I don't actually know who that is. Probably a legend, though. We think there are some points in progression where courier tasks in particular could use a little boost to make them a more appealing option. We'll be increasing the completion XP offered by all courier tasks from level 40 and above by 15%. Why not 40 and below, too? Did anybody, everybody did courier tasks or port tasks at the beginning. Why is it so bad? It's so bad. Like, I get that you want us to have a decent amount of time in those low levels, but holy shit, it was painful. Like, you're getting 57 XP for going on a map on a fucking stinky raft all the way to Catherby. It's just like, Jesus. It was so painful. They should just do this 15% all across the board. Why not? Why not below 42? You know what I mean? Would anybody have a problem with that? This should help them shine a little brighter in the level ranges between Barracuda trials, where one starts to fall off and want to progress to the next, particularly levels 40 to 55 and 60 to 70. 670. 67. Oh, okay. As well as make them a more appealing laid-back options for players in the 90s and beyond 99 sporting Rosewood upgrades to max out their boat speeds. At this stage, we're not planning any changes to the XP offered by bounty tasks for two main reasons. One being that ship combat isn't in the best state right now, and we need to have a wider review on how to best improve combat before we push it any closer to being the meta at any stage. And the other being that these tasks are supposed to be a nice excuse for you to obtain bounty targets unique drops while still getting a little sailing XP boost on the side. Deep sea trawling. Sailing to 30 is not even bad now when we know what to do. Isn't it just like charting, like sea charting? That must be it, right? Sea charting is what you kind of do in the early days. They already buffed it. Yeah, but they buffed it like very, very slightly, I think. But why not? If they're going to buff it again, why not just buff the lower levels again? You know what I mean? Isn't it just sea chart? Like, I have not really done many sea charting. I've done like maybe 20 or 30 tasks total. But apparently that's like the goat. You get so much XP for doing it. So that was something I kind of missed because, again, I was like just gone on mobile and just reading occasional Reddit posts. So let me know, guys, down in the comments. I like reading these things. Deep sea trawling, we've not got any specific changes that we're making here this week, but felt it important to at least mention that we're aware of the wider discussions that you're all having regarding deep sea trawling. Our intent for this method has always been for it to be a lower XP per hour activity with a solid resource outpush fit, so that trawling serves as a solid skilling moneymaker. Though that was our intent, we do understand where many of you are coming from with feelings that the XP offered isn't worth the intensity of the input, especially with the sailing XP per hour being reduced as a result of the crystal extractor changes. So no changes to trawling this week. We're going to nerf this thing to the ground, but no changes this week now. But we'll be having conversations around the XP, the output, and whether this is more of a sailing or fishing activity. Then see what changes we might be able to make that make it a more appealing method, but not making it so appealing that the economy absolutely floods with powerful new fish and deep sea trawling ceases to be a worthwhile moneymaker. Watch this space. Cool. Shipwreck salvaging. Oh god, this is going to be bad. Despite being the simple AFK training method, there's a lot of complexity involved in balancing shipwreck salvaging because there are so many ways that players can approach it. Here's a quick rundown of all the ways that you've been salvaging so far. Self-salvage, self-sort, no crewmates. Self-salvage, drop, no crewmates. Self-salvage, self-sort, assign crewmate to salvage while sorting. This is like a tongue twister on steroids. One crewmate salvage, self-sort, assign crewmate to salvage while sorting. Two crewmate salvage, self-sort. One crewmate salvage, self-2-tick salvage, self-sort, assign seconds crewmate to salvage while sorting. Christ. One crewmate salvage, self-2-tick salvage drop, self-1.5-tick salvage, self-sort, self-1.5-tick salvage drop, and more. All of these for every single type of shipwreck. Help me. God help me. Many of these are enabled to the salvaging station, which was an addition made late into sailing's development, which has made two crewmate salvage, self-sort, in particular, a very strong AFK method that allows almost 30 minutes of downtime with solid XP rates. Also, am I the one that I thought the logout timer was 25 minutes? Did they just like randomly over the last couple months make it 30 minutes? I just saw that. Like you could just change your logout time. If you haven't done that, change it to 30 minutes on RuneLight. But you could just be on the game for 30 minutes. With solid XP rates, making it arguably the best AFK method in the game. It was very, very powerful, to be fair. Especially when coupled with the additional XP per hour from the crystal extractor. This is compounded by a bug where crewmates are actually salvaging every 3 ticks, making them faster than players who salvage every 4 ticks. Except for Jobless Jim. That dude never gets anything. That guy is so slow, and he gives me nerfed XP. The Ghost. Who's that guy? Who's the Ghost guy? Let me see. Cabin Boy Jenkins. That guy's a fucking unit. While we love AFK methods just as much as you, we're no strangers to some good second screen salvaging while at work. We think that the XP per hour on offer with some of these is a little too good for the effort required, which weakens the appeal of port tasks and Barracuda trials. I will give... That makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? Like, really, what I came to the conclusion was, like, I could just get 99 sailing just by sitting at the spot for an eternity, and it's just, like, the simplest thing of all time. And I really didn't have much motivation to go and do port tasks. Even right now, I just have zero. Like, that just sounds exhausting. I'm just like, oh god, I really don't want to do that. Barracuda trials, actually, even though it was infuriating on mobile, I have not done any on PC yet. That actually sounds pretty enjoyable, low-key. It makes it possible to reach 99 sailing without moving your boat much at all. Yeah, so they have a point there. Why is that a problem? Let people train how they want. No, don't get me wrong. There are some problems here, but I understand at least their reasoning. Imagine Shooting Stars was 90k XP per hour. Like, wouldn't that be probably bad for the game? The large portion of the community would probably say it's good for the game, but like, would it be? It wouldn't it just like discourage any other form of mining? So that's how I kind of see it, and at least they're aware of that. We're looking to make some changes here that might not be easy to understand from the numbers, so we'll state our goals clearly. Whirlpool Surprise in the barrel stand gives +2 deck handiness to crewmates as well as other buffs, which makes Jobless Jim as good as Jenkins. Damn it! Wait, what? I thought it just gave a base +2. Whirlpool Surprise in the barrel stand. I thought Whirlpool, isn't that the one I have? I thought that was just it rises all boats, no pun intended, to like +2. It's base 2, yeah. Thank you, Beams. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure. No worlds will be full again. Great job, Jagex. God damn it. It was actually insane to see like 10 worlds at full. Like, what is happening? That's crazy. They fucked up my great white shark spot. I'm sorry, King. They're there. Nerf AFK. Okay, so this is what they're going to be doing. Nerf AFK salvaging across the board so that its top end is slightly above similar AFK methods like redwood, woodcutting. A rough estimate here is that the AFK salvaging methods could top out in the 80 to 90k XP range. Ensure that moderately AFK methods where crewmates salvage and the player's swords still result in more XP than dropping salvage. Who the fuck was dropping salvage? Anybody? Like, why was that? There's no way anybody was dropping salvage. Now we're going to, because I actually already peeked at this blog post and I saw they're going to nerf the hell out of actually like sorting it out. But who was doing that? Yeah, these are live today right now. So let's see. So it is significantly better than dropping. Tone down. Oh, wait. Ensure. Okay, wait. Let me read this again because maybe I'm just confused. Ensure that moderately AFK methods where crewmate salvage and the player's swords still result in more XP than dropping salvage. But tone down the sorting XP so that it isn't significantly better than dropping. Why does it need to be better than dropping anyway? Like okay, whatever. Reduce some common frustrations and pain point with salvaging to improve quality of life. Also, you know what I didn't like about the salvaging table? You couldn't look at the skill guide while on the salvaging station. I didn't like that. It's like the most AFK thing ever. You know how when was it? Like a couple years ago, they're like, hey, now you can do AFK activities and like check out your collection log and check out the skill guides and everything, and it won't interrupt you. But like the most AFK things of all time, like just don't work with it. It's very silly. Reduce some common frustrations and pain point when salvaging to improve quality of life. Like what? Improve the output of high intensity salvaging so that players looking for high intensity training methods have a viable alternative that competes with Barracuda trials. Okay. Say port tests are absolutely cracked. People aren't even close to the best methods. I was getting 175k per hour consistently from 88 to 99 with rosewood holes. Oh geez. Is rosewood still the same as ironwood in speed? Or is no, rosewood is the dragon one, right? Rosewood is with dragon sheets. Yeah, that's going to be a while for me to get, because that ends up having your boat speed 3. Is that correct? Because I'm at 2.5. You could use it, kind of. You have to open skill, then click. But for the salvaging table, yeah, it's just scroll. Yeah, it's annoying. Salvage dead. I don't think salvage is dead now, because we're gonna get to this. It sounds like tick manipulation salvage is going to be on steroids, though. That's kind of what I came away from this when I just briefly looked at this before I recorded. So let's see. Now let's dive into what we're looking to realize these goals. So those are all the goals, starting with all the ways we'd like to improve your quality of life when salvaging shipwrecks. Player salvaging now runs on a slower 5-tick cycle, but with increased success rates across all shipwreck tiers to keep XP roughly the same while boosting AFK time. What? How is that boosting AFK time? Aren't all the shipwrecks just on a timer? Increased success rates are... I don't understand how this is boosting. Can anyone explain how this is boosting AFK time? Crewmates will now remember their assigned task over logout. Oh yeah. God, that would have been so good on mobile. Mobile's like the laggiest thing, and you just like your fat fingers keep clicking the wrong things. That's beautiful. Meaning they'll get right back to salvaging even if you hop worlds. Less salvage, so less inventory fulls. Oh, I see what you mean. Thank you. Tired. That does make sense. Crewmate's salvage range will be calculated from the hook's position rather than from the boat's position. This should reduce scenarios where crewmates could salvage shipwrecks that you could not, and vice versa. Okay. Crewmates will now salvage at the same rate as players rather than outperforming their captain. What are their success rates though? Are the crewmates' success rates the same as a player? I doubt it. It never felt like that. We'll be adding more double salvage spots to every shipwreck spot. Thank God. That is so important, I feel like. While also making these double spots easier to access and orient yourself so that you're not getting stuck repeatedly. So, as we'll see in a second, they're adding more spots, but if people at least are paying more attention and everybody kind of goes to a different double spot, I think everything should be fine. Like, you can go to those packed worlds, and you might even be able to get, like, more non-salvaging time, like more salvaging time. What am I trying to say? You're gonna have less downtime where nobody's doing anything, without having to move your boat. I think, right? If there's more double spots, well, more double spots in the same vicinity, because I guess if one's like way over on a different spot, it's not going to affect it. Jolly Jim's deck handiness has been increased to 4, meaning you'll have 2 crewmates able to use dragon salvaging hooks. Beautiful. Okay. These tweaks should help improve the social aspect of salvaging, cut down on annoyance when getting into the right spot or hopping at the same location, and improve the consistency with which crewmates do what you'd expect them to. It actually ends up being lowering XP even further. People have broken down the math on this. Oh yeah, I mean 100%. That's what I'm seeing. Again, unless you tick manipulate, which we're about to get to right here. You might have noticed that the above list also states that players will salvage on a 5-tick cycle rather than a 4-tick cycle. I agree with you, Funky. I think the promoting of tick manipulation felt all right before today because you're already on a 4-tick cycle. So when you're mining a rock, that's a 5-tick cycle. If you're moving rocks, if you're moving rocks, it's the 5-tick cycle. So so if you were like AFKing granite, for example, and just not using knife or log and just moving to each new rock, that's a 5-tick cycle. And using a knife and log becomes 1.5 tick. So the difference between 1.5 tick and 5 tick is just fucking massive. It's such a massive improvement over everything. It's technically not 1.5 tick. It's a little bit less than that because if you got a double roll, you'd only get 1 resource. So it is a little bit less than that. But I'm not going to go into all the math about that. But this is basically what they're doing. They're making it so 5 tick. Now 2 ticking is way more powerful. 2 ticking was only double speed. Now it's 2.5 speed, yeah. This is crazy. This is slower than before, but we're buffing success chances at all tiers of shipwreck to compensate. This aims to keep the XP per hour of actually salvaging at a similar or slightly lower level than before, but will also increase your AFK time when actively salvaging. Here's how success rates are changing to compensate for this adjusted speed. Small shipwrecks are 11, so then it goes fisherman 14, barracuda 15, large shipwrecks 16% increased success chance, pirate shipwrecks 21%, and then all the way up to merchant shipwrecks, which now have a 16 to 22% increase. So why is it 16 to 22? Is that just per the levels you go up or something? On top of this, we're buffing the XP that you get from actually pulling up salvage for some of the higher tier shipwrecks as followed. So pirate shipwrecks are going to 76 from 63. Mercenary 138 from 127, 162 to 150. And merchant shipwrecks now give 200 instead of 190. However, oh God, we're reducing the XP that you get from sorting salvage to try and better emphasize getting involved on the hooks yourself and reducing some of the strength of the 2 crewmate salvage self-sort method. We love an AFK method, but with sorting XP being as good as it is, we think relying solely on sorting and letting our crewmates do all the salvaging a little too AFK to be healthy long term. This is the biggest fucking nerf of all time. Barracuda salvage is 13 instead of 15, large 20 instead of 24, but it gets so much worse. 30 instead of 63 at mercenary, 32. It only goes up 2x. Why? It was going up 7 and then 6. And then 4, and then 2, and then 2. Huh? What is that? It literally has the biggest increases forward. And the tiniest little increment. What is I don't get it. I don't get how a mercenary salvage at level 73 gives 30 XP. And at level 87, you get 34. Huh? You could have just made this 60 or 50 even. 34 though. Okay. Holy shit. Instead of 95, by the way. That's crazy. It's hard to put all of this together and understand exactly how each of the approaches to shipwreck salvaging might be impacted. The oversimplified version is that we estimate these numbers to be a 20 to 30% nerf for AFK salvaging from level 35 shipwrecks and beyond, and around a 20% buff to more high-intensity approaches to salvaging. It's worth noting that the majority of the 20 to 30% nerf here assumes that you're maintaining good uptime on your crystal extractor. So if you've been taking it easy and missing out on harvesting every minute, then you'll likely see a smaller reduction in XP. Additionally, shifting more XP onto salvaging rather than sorting means you'll notice more of the benefits from upgrading your hook. The current paradigm with sorting doing so much lifting coupled with the sheer volume of XP added to the crystal extractor means upgrading your salvaging hooks multiple tiers doesn't result in noticeable increases in XP per hour, but these increases should be more noticeable with today's update. We believe these numbers should help bring them into a healthier spot so that they're still a solid social AFK offering, but not so solid that they lead to many players not engaging with other training methods whatsoever, coupled with a bunch of quality of life improvements that should improve consistency, which will boost XP per hour slightly in a way that's tougher to model, and position high intensity salvaging methods as something that might be a competitive alternative to Barracuda trials for endgame sailors looking for a change of pace. What do you guys say? 1 in 20,000 for a dragon barrel too, bro. Check it out. Dragon fucking barrel on the account. I'm just flexing at this point. Yeah. I got it at like just before 88, which is just wild. I thought it was a 1 in 18,000. Turns out 1 in 20,000. That's just silly. Anyway, I just needed to flex that really quick. All right, where are we in? Yeah, so nobody likes nerfs. Anybody, type 1 if you like nerfs. Or feeling like they're missing out on stronger early XP rates because of real life commitments. But we hope that you can appreciate our desire to better position Sailing's core training methods relative to each other now that we're equipped with more data and feedback that we could ever have gathered by ourselves. These changes also create more space for us to add new methods or activities in the gaps to flesh out a varied progression curve with a large breadth of gameplay for players to enjoy for years to come. So we can't wait to see what you come up with together as more and more suggestions for new activities flood in. Oh, and one last thing before we move on. We're fixing the Horizons lure so that it correctly applies its 2.5% XP boost to all activities in sailing, meaning harvesting from the crystal extractor, sorting and salvaging, handing in port tasks, trimming the sails, collecting crates in a Barracuda trial, completing a Barracuda trial. Beautiful. All right. Remember what we said before. These changes aren't set in stone and unchanging forever. This balancing process will be iterative and take time to get right. Let us know your thoughts once you've gotten hands-on in-game, and we'll take those on board to see how they might contextualize the data that we get to continue getting things into the right spot. Thanks for bearing with us. Now let's talk about booty. Sailing drop rates and mechanics. Let's talk drop rates. These are insane. As always, the combined forces of the OSRS Wiki and RuneLite team mean you should already have a rough idea of what the rates are for any items that you're chasing, but we commit to releasing drop rates in full within 2 weeks of an update so that you can know for sure and perhaps spot if anything seems awry. There are a lot of items added with sailing, so we'll be putting them into an expand section to avoid cluttering the blog if you're not interested. By the way, I need to say this before I forget. Listen, have you guys done merchant salvaging, the highest one, where you're getting a bunch of lesser gems? Why the fuck doesn't the gem bag hold gems? Hello? Guys, listen, if you want to nerf salvaging so hard, can we at least like keep the salvage that we're salvaging? You know what I mean? That we're sorting? Like, can we please make the seed or the gem bag fit all the gems? Those red topaz, dropping all those is just so painful. And listen, why doesn't it immediately go? Okay, actually, I will say, actually, no, I think it should. The herb sack and the gem bag and the seed box should all immediately go in there. You know, you shouldn't have to click fill. It should just automatically go in there, just like picking up. In fact, on mobile, I remember dropping an herb. So like the herbs go in, which is, I guess, cool because you can see the loot you're getting. But if you have an open, you're choosing to open your herb sack, you're choosing to open your gem bag, you're choosing to open your seed box. When it's open, it should just automatically go in there. You know what I mean? And if you're very nitpicky about the seeds that go in, just close it for a little bit until you get the seeds that you want, and then manually input it and then open it. So then all the rest go in. So, and listen, I would even be okay with like a buffed gem bag, like a gem bag that holds maybe double the amount. So you could really just sit there and it feels like you're actually getting the loot that you want, you know? Anyway, my thoughts. There was something else I wanted to share on that note, but I'll come to it in a second. All right, let's talk drop rates. Imp boxes to bank red topaz. Oh, really? Do you use imp boxes? That's crazy. Yeah, why have open close if they work the same? Yeah, it's very silly. So that should have been on this blog post, in my opinion. So 66% sorting XP reduction plus crewmate salvaging range reduced plus crewmate salvaging rate reduced has XP rates from 120k to 60k. All right, everyone's got to learn how to tick manipulate. Don't worry, I will come up with some videos very soon, guys. You guys are all gonna have carpal tunnel by the end of the week once you watch my video. All right. As always, the combined forces of the... I already read all this, right? Didn't I? But we're committing to releasing drop rates in full within 2 weeks of an update so that you can know for sure and perhaps spot if anything seems awry. There are a lot of items added with sailing, so we'll be putting them into an expand section to avoid cluttering the blog if you're interested. I want to see all this. Bell's Folly, 1 in 400. I don't really know all this stuff. I can't remember. Is that the rapier thing? I can't remember. I think it is. Gold Pet, 1 in 3,000. Jar of Feathers, 1 in 2,000. Elite Clue. This all looks pretty standard. That's nice. Okay, cool. Griffin, Horde of Plenty, 1 in 2, 2,500 off task, 1 in 5. Why are we doing the off task, on task bullshit? Like, genuinely. And if, oh God, okay, I get it. That's what they want to do. Listen, guys, when you're on task, it's already like, I'm glad they're not doing the 5x thing and making it 5,000 off task. Why are we doing any of this stuff where the drop rates are different? I can't just blanket statements say that though, because there are a couple situations, which I've mentioned before in other videos, like Revenants giving an increase from getting a wilderness task actually was the right call in my opinion. But like, we don't need to be doing this with every single thing because you're already getting a boost of being on task, you know, probably botting. Yeah, still, but whatever. I think the thing that's annoying is it's like the Iron Man in you. Like if you're an Iron Man, there's some things you want to get. And then when you're forced to get a task to do it, it's just awful. It's just like, why can't I just go grind this inefficiently, not gaining Slayer XP and having no helmet boost, you know? Like this is already worse on a bunch of different levels. And now you're going to make it 2.5 times additionally worse. It's like a multiplicative worsening of it. Whatever. I'm going to stop complaining about that. Aquanite Tendon, 1 in 3,500 off task, 1 in... What? Huh? Why are they... Why is it 2.5x and then all of a sudden it goes to... This is really odd. It's not even a 5x. It's like a 4 point... Whatever the hell. X. 4.66 x. I don't... What's happening here? I don't get these numbers. All right. Baint Potes. Yeah, Baint Potes. Barracuda only rolled when achieving Marlin Troy. So yeah, 1 in 240 for Temper Tantrum. 1 in 220 Jubbly Jive. 1 in 400 Gwyneth Clyde. Shark. 1 in 36 for completing any port tasks. What up, Metal? Inky. So again, none of these. I'm not really that. I don't really care about this stuff right now. Salvers. Marshall Salvage. Are you kidding me? Marshall Salvage. Isn't that the... Is that the... Which one is that? That's like the level 73 one, right? The mercenaries. Yeah, that's silly. Like, come on. Like, okay, I guess it's not like the silliest thing because it is just a cosmetic. Because it is just a paint. But like, that's like mining like fucking copper and tin for some cosmetic. Like once you're already level 99, like you're level 99 sailing, you're going beyond it. You just want to get all the stuff, and now you got to go back to some shitty method to whatever. I'm just complaining to complain. Dragon Sheet, Strike Worm off task 1 in 400, Strike Taff on task 1 in 100. These are all over the place with the scaling of it. On task, off task. Okay. Dragon Nails, 1 in 2,000. It's insane how rare they are. Like how rare these nails are from salvaging. It's crazy. Lone Gym Rat calced the clogs for salvaging. It was 8.6 mil XP before the update today. Wow. Okay. Interesting. So what about today? Dragon Cannonballs. Pirate Shipwreck, 1 in 3,000. You get like a singular cannonball. 1 in 3,000, 10 in 4,250. What? This is so rare. It's so rare to get Dragon Cannonballs. I'm surprised how cheap they are. When I examined them last, yeah, they're 3,000 each. Who the hell's producing all the Dragon Cannonballs? Or just nobody has a Dragon Cannon? How are they so cheap when you get none? I guess you got to kill the like Frost Giants or whatever, or Frost Dragons. Yeah, but still, that's still crazy cheap. I would expect them to be like 10K. I'm 98 with 30 nails and 0 cannons. Oh god. No one is doing ship combat because it feels like ass, dude. Listen, I'm gonna bring this up one more time. Somebody had a Reddit post talking about cannon should do more damage. Listen, the steel cannonballs, the classic ones that are on land, those deal 30, and the granite ones deal 35. You know, so why didn't it just go up from there? Why didn't like the cannon itself should be way more, like every cannon upgrade should be way more accuracy and even a base damage boost. So for example, like shooting, like steel should be like 30 damage, mithril should be like 50, adamant like 70 or something, like going upward. So you're hitting these massive numbers, and like dragon cannonballs can be hitting like 120s or whatever. And then the cannon itself adds an additional layer of damage the higher cannon you have. That'd be so fucking sick. And then what they could have done is just like in the Reddit post, it just said crank the monster's HP way higher. Just crank it way higher, and then allow your player to just deal normal damage as well. You know what I mean? So like if you are super pimped out in your ancestral or whatever you're using, you're still doing the same damage. There isn't like this arbitrary nerf. So you can use your cannons. It'll have the crazy hits. It'll be doing more than your player can most of the time. I just use bronze sea balls. You sea balls? Huh? No, easy to get and very cheap. Why are you... What is happening? You're lying. Oh, God. Give the dragon cannon a special. That would be sick, too. Dragon cannon should get a special attack. Broken dragon hook. Great white shark. 1 in 10, 23. How much better... Does anyone here have a dragon hook? How much better is it than the rune hook? Has anybody been able to like know what the percentage is? By the way, it will be much better now because the increase percentage chance of like mercenary is like 22% now. So it's going to be even more cranked up, barely, but sad. Great white shark drop mechanics. Great white sharks have a 1 in 1,000 chance to roll on the dragon table. Due to a nasty bug, these haven't been rolling as intended, but we're fixing that as a part of today's update. So cool. Get the dragon sheets and stuff. Armored Kraken drop mechanics. Armored Kraken have a 1 in 256 chance to roll on their dragon table. Echo Pearl. What's the Echo Pearl? What's that for? Swift Albatross Feather. Narwhal Horn. I don't really know what any of these things do. It's just like bringing it to the museum or something. Ray Barbs. I did 900 great white sharks before they fixed that bug. That's fucked. I'm sorry, Wiggy. You should sue. No, that's really sad, though. It was a nasty bug, though, man. I mean, also the 84 fletching requirements doesn't make any sense. Why is it higher than an actual blowpipe? Oh yeah, the like new. I haven't seen the new blowpipes yet. I've heard it's about 8% better than a rune hook. Okay. When are we gonna get a Barrows hook? An abyssal hook? That'd be cool. Something like 20% between bronze and dragon. Are you kidding me? That is awful. Okay, dragon cannon barrel. You remember when I just flexed that several times already in this ramble? 1 in 20,000. I got so lucky on that. Holy shit. But it's not like you just get the dragon cannon barrel. You have to like all these other ingredients before you can even build one. And then it's 8% better. It's like horrible. Boat bottles, sailors, amulet. I got mine from a fisherman's salvage. That was dope. All of the salvaging uniques are 1 in 3,000. So those moldy dolls and whatnot. Clue scrolls. Very cool. Soup. This made me feel so happy because I did get soup on my account at level 73. 73. Soup is only obtainable on player rolls, meaning your crew do not roll pet chances for you. Interesting. Barracuda Trials, 1 in 16,000. Jubbly Jive, 1 in 11,500. Gwyneth Glide, 1 in 9,000. And then they do say rolls only happen on achieving the time. So Marlin, you get 3 rolls, meaning 1 in 3,000 at Gwyneth Glide. Shark is, again, if you achieve Marlin every time. Gwyneth Glide is 180 mil on rate, unless you get Marlin, unless you're a beast. Are you a beast? Because then it's only 60 mil. Is that actually, that makes me feel so good about getting soup early. I was like, soup seems like the most common pet of all time, but then I remembered that fallacy of like, you just see everybody getting the pet. but it's because you're never seeing all the people that aren't getting their pet, you know what I mean? And it's just, the number is just way, way, way larger of people not getting a pet, but all you see is the people getting the pet. Port task scales on, level required, so ranges from 1 in 6,000. Trimming the sails, 1 in 120,000. Somebody's going to trim a sail and get the soup. That's already happened, obviously. Charting, 1 in 30,000. Salvage, wow. Okay, so I got mine from a mercenary salvage. So, Jesus, 1 in 260,000. Oh, God. You sailing on Sae Bae or Squawk Cam? Squawk Cam. All been Squawk Cam so far. Because I've just been on like vacation for the last 2 weeks. As soon as sailing dropped, I like went out to Denver for 2 weeks, basically. So I've just been mobile gaming, and that's why I'm having you guys like offer your input, because a lot of this stuff I don't know everything about, because I haven't just been super gaming. I've just been having my phone in my pocket salvaging. Okay, so again, all these giant fish I just don't really care about much, but 1 in 2,000 to 1 in 6,000 ish. And then shimmering shoal, glistening shoal. You guys get it. I haven't even done any of the trawling, so I don't really understand what these are, but cool. Interesting. We think we've caught everything here, but let us know if we've missed any, or there are other items that you're curious about. Good luck on those grinds. By the way, I will have this blog post linked down below, so if I just kind of like skipped over some things, just you know, you can go check it out yourself. Other sailing changes. So here's some good stuff, I think. Let's see. So far, it's been a pretty information-dense post full of numbers and balancing changes, but it's time to ease up a little and talk through all of our simple fixes and straightforward improvements this week. There's bound to be something in here that might win a nod of approval from you. They just know this whole thing was a disaster. Like, we might get a little nod. XP rewards like XP lamps or Tears of Gothics are now able to be used on sailing. Oh, goddamn. Actually, no, this is fine. I would rather train sailing than runecrafting. Runecrafting's back to my lowest again on Squawk Cam. A reminder, you'll need to have completed the Pandemonium quest before you'll get any XP from these methods. Okay. We've improved the hitbox of lost supplies to better match their model and make them more intuitive to collect. That's good. We're almost certain we've got it right this time. The size of the cargo holds model and clickbox have been slightly increased to make it easier to click on. Players should no longer find themselves logging in at the last port they have visited if they logged out and their ship is docked at an island's mooring point. That was so frustrating. I didn't know what was happening because I was on mobile and I wasn't like in the know, and I kept fucking going to the mercenary salvages and going to that whatever spot is with the ironwood trees, and I just kept going back to goddamn Deep Fin Point. I was freaking out every time I'd hop worlds. I go back. I'm like, what is happening? That's good. Shipwrights can now repair your boat for 50 GP per hit point restored. Boats will now heal to full whenever their keel or hull is upgraded. Ooh, that's nice. Cargo crates. By the way, I really do like the shipwrights can now just repair your ship. Yeah, you couldn't even recall your boat because of, yeah, no, it's horrible. Not sure if links are allowed, but here's the Reddit thread to the difference in salvaging hooks. Ooh, I'd love to see that. But you should link it over on Twitch. You jump over on Twitch because Twitch is easier to get links, I think. I think YouTube just bans them all. Maybe. Remove some invisible walls in the Fremensund to meteorologist. Why? Why is his name Meaty? Like, God. Did I even read this? Cargo crates. Oh, yeah, it was a UIM thing, so I didn't even read it. Cargo crates from career tasks no longer count towards cargo hold storage cap for UIM players. Note that this is a temporary fix until we work with UIM players to settle on a better long-term solution for UIM gripes with port tasks. Chum stations now all have their sailing requirements for use matching their sailing requirements for building, meaning if you can build one, you can use one. Thank God. By the way, they should do that with everything. I was an idiot and decided to upgrade my salvaging hooks to rune before I had the sailing level for it. So I boosted to build the equipment and I couldn't even fucking use it. So, oh God, that was incredibly frustrating. I can't lie to you. I understand if you're on somebody else's boat, you shouldn't be able to use a facility that you're not the level of. But like, I'm not gonna lie. Like they should have some warnings on that, or like just make it so if it's on your boat and you've built it, you can use it. You know what I mean? I was really, yeah, you did the same. So it's so annoying. I just had to boost with the little blue drink over and over. Default settings have been adjusted so that using the check materials button on boat upgrades will display a message in chat by default. Diving gear is no longer deleted when depositing into cargo hold. A helmet-related mermaid riddle solution has been updated to incorporate another correct solution. We fixed a bug where players sorting merchant salvage were being told that they did not have a sailing level requirement to sort through it in some scenarios. Players can no longer walk onto saleable tiles in Varlamore and Laguna Aurora and teleport themselves to Port Sarim. Planks from the plank sack are now usable when building facilities on a boat. Beautiful. The captain's that's a nice change. The captain's log no longer suggests that there is any evidence on the Sharhai to the west of the Vatrakos Island because the evidence is actually to the east. Our bad on this one, but well done to any explorer spirit who went out of their way to find the evidence regardless. Frost dragons have had their respawn timer made faster. They'll now respawn every 4.5 seconds, down from 18. That's beautiful. I haven't even killed those yet, but that's beautiful. Frost dragons can now be fought in the cavern on the Grimstone. That's only accessible while on a Slayer task. Just in case you missed it, we made a handful of hotfixes after last week's game update to fix some issues you might have encountered. Crystal Extractor now resets its progress properly when a new Barracuda trial was started. Fixed a bug where players were able to board other players' boats during a Gwyneth Glide, which some players abused to set unbeatable world record times. We also reset world record times alongside any illegitimately obtained personal bests as a result. Do that to Hallowed Sepulchre too. It's been like 5 years since any of that was fixed. Z buffer graphical fixes. Ooh. Following our big leap into true 3D depth with our new Z buffer system, we've been hard at work smoothing out some of the quirks you've spotted. Thanks to your reports, a batch of visual issues have been addressed. Here's what's been tidied up this week. Player-owned house constructions and decorations now display correctly with all textures and details appearing as intended. Updated the Shiloh Village gem mine entrance so it displays as open rather than blocked when viewed. The fireplace on a wall near Ortha's farm no longer clips. Okay. Fixed the ancient mushroom reflection near the Fortis Coliseum so they now display correctly. Quetzal tails no longer clip through hay piles. Seed vault shadow now displays correctly without flickering or overlapping. Ritual circles with the enchantment or forestry event now sit correctly on the ground, preventing them from clipping or on uneven terrain. Okay. As always, these fixes are part of an ongoing effort to polish the new depth system, so you may notice subtle improvements rolling out between updates. Keep an eye on the world and keep sending us your feedback. You can keep track of known issues and updates in the official OSRS Discord ZBuffer Known Issues channel. Beautiful. Oh my God, that is so cute. That's cute. And the candy canes are cute. All right, so we got a bunch of advertisements now at the bottom. I'm not going to read all that, but you guys can check it out. There's more changes. Other changes. Fixed a bug where players receive their guaranteed mimic on the 26th casket or 11th master instead of the intended 25th or 10th. Blue Moon Spear special attack now only unfreezes NPCs that are legitimately frozen or bound, working correctly on Yama while preventing unintended unfreezing of other bosses. With the exception of PvP and Dead Man Worlds, players who with the exception of it. Players who start to harvest an allotment and in the same tick use the produce on a compost bin will once again continue harvesting and composting automatically until yes. Oh God. See, I had stopped farming when this happened, but apparently you just couldn't do the little trick with the compost bucket and whatever else for a while, and they fixed that. So that is a gorgeous change. Huge fan. I didn't even notice. I kept getting comments from people like, bro, you need to make a ramble on this ASAP. And I'm like, I just haven't farmed in a bit. Or I farmed, but I haven't like made compost. Corrected interface positioning. Wait, I'm actually curious on this. This had stopped working because the code for using items on scenery was breaking binding effects such as the ice spells. As those effects tend to matter most in PvP, we've restored the ability to use compost bins in that way, but only on non-PvP worlds. Ah, interesting. This game is so jank. Oh, God. Corrected interface positioning to remove the gap at the top of the screen when moving the map on desktop. The water pump site on Vatrakos Island now updates its appearance. The troll face has been removed from the thieving skill guide. Okay, got it. Beautiful. Okay, so this was a fucking chunker. This was a chunker, everybody. Let me just say a few things, which is, one, I do feel like salvaging should continuously be looked at. I genuinely think it's so weird for it to now be a 5-tick thing. If they are insistent on these changes and they don't make any changes, I'm just going to say right now, if you are a salvaging fiend, you love salvaging, you're going to have to learn how to tick manipulate. But listen, if you've ever seen people tick manipulate on the boats, it looks way, way worse than it needs to be. And that's because people were not using the Salaster Spark. So yeah, you could say no thanks. But listen, you can still have a guy on one hook and then your guy on the other hook. Because it's now 5-tick, you can increase that section of XP, your player's section of XP, which is now crazy because merchant salvaging is 200 XP for your guy, plus the increased chance of getting salvage. So if you tick manipulate, you're going to a 2-tick salvage. Now, again, most people are just going to AFK, which is totally fine. But I'm just saying right now, after this update, tick manipulating it is going to be way faster. And it's genuinely easy. It's not that risk breaking because you kind of basically get a gnome cube. This is basically a gnome cube, the Salaster Spark, and you got to have a knife on you. But it's pretty busted. In fact, well, I'll make a video on it soon. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to come out with a few different variations of it. We salvage for AFK. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. Like, you can still AFK and salvage. But if you're ever at the computer and you're still just a salvaging fiend, instead of just staring at your screen or whatever, you can improve it a little bit. Literally just by bringing one additional inventory item that you don't need to use all the time. But if you mess up the tick manipulation, aren't you ages away from a bank? Yeah, but it's very hard to mess up with a Salaster Spark. It's easier to mess up with a knife and log. Knife and log means it's going, like, you have 2 ticks to click something. Salaster Spark, this is a 4-tick starting thing, so you have like 3 ticks to mess up. So it's way harder to mess up. You don't have to break your wrist clicking 2 things every time. And the movement is literally this. You just go. And you can make it even easier than that. Like, it's chill. It's very chill. Where do you get it? This is a Salaster Spark, so you need 85 farming to harvest a Salaster's tree. Can you demonstrate it now? Yeah, fuck it. Where's the closest salvaging? Is it like, I don't want to go all the way to mercenary. Here's one right here, salvaging spot. Okay, let's go. I'll just show you real quick after I harvest this little bad boy. Okay. I tried the tick manipulation salvaging for 10 minutes and couldn't get a single XP drop. So the issue with this is it kind of has that mining element to it, which means you must be on a proper cycle. So whenever you mess up, just reset it. If you feel like you haven't gained XP for a while, you're probably off. Oh, I gotta go north. Oops. So let me just show you what I mean by this. Did we have to nerf the AFK method by 50% so tick manipulation could be slightly better though? We didn't need to. I find it very silly. Also, god damn it, I turned on the sailing plugin. Everything looks so gross. I gotta like adjust these. What is this? Pirate shipwreck? Oh god, this is not gonna be good. Oh, it's a double spot though. Okay. So watch. I'm gonna show you what I mean. So I'm gonna have my ghost guy he's already salvaging. Oh my god, what a beautiful update. I didn't even click any of these guys yet since the last hop. That's gorgeous. Okay, so watch. I'm gonna take over this guy's spot. So what you do to salvage is you're gonna click the Salaster's Bark, and on the same tick, click back 1 and then click on the salvaging hook. So and you get double. See that? So it's every 4 ticks. Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. This is literally all you do. And if you're at the merchant thing one, you're gonna be getting 400 XP drops every time you get a double, which is like way more consistent. So yeah, this is very OP though. So again, most people are just going to be AFKing, but if you are looking to get more XP per hour and you're just one of those salvagers, like you just don't want to do port tasks, you don't want to do Barracuda trials, but you want to get relatively good XP, you can just do this, and it's so fucking easy. And you want to know something crazy? This is the easiest way. You want to see the easiest way to salvage of all time? It requires 1 click every 4 ticks. Look, I'm going to show you an even more busted one that you don't even need a slasher's bark. You don't need any tick manipulation item. Are you ready for this? It's the same thing as 2 ticking player-grown trees. So what you do is you're going to have to utilize both hooks. So I've already custom menu swapped these guys, so I'm not clicking on them. I've changed them all to walk here, and these are prioritized. So watch this. I'm going to click this, and then click over here. And then every 4 ticks, you just click to the next one. So 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh wait, I accidentally went early when I started clicking out loud, or when I started talking out loud. So here we go. Let me do this one more time. So what you do is you stand adjacent to a hook, you click it, and on the very next tick, so on click 1, you click on the salvaging hook that you're adjacent to, and then the very next tick, you click over here. And then you're on a 4 tick cycle. So every 4 ticks after that, you're going to be clicking just one time every 4 ticks. So let me show you. Let's go. Yeah, here. Let me pull this up. So watch. If you want to make this even easier for yourself, put on the report button. There's a report button plugin that shows you the ticks that's happened. So every 6,000 ticks is an hour. So I've been logged in for an hour and a half right here. And this helps you keep track of ticks, basically. So like every single time it goes up, that's 1 tick passed. So let me click this thing again. Here I go. So I'm going to start here. Boom. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Okay, now they're both salvaged. So this is an awful fucking spot to be at. But basically it's just every 4 ticks. So it does take a little bit of time. I'll have an additional video talking about it. This is like the easiest thing of all time. And it actually has a very solid rhythm. There's no slashers barking. It's going to be slightly worse because the cabin boy ain't doing his shit. So that is not the most ideal situation. But if you're just totally allergic to slashers bark or knife log, this is a way to do it. And it's 2 tick. Because right now they've nerfed it to 5 tick. 5 tick compared to 2 tick, this is 2.5 times faster. And because you're going to be getting the XP drops, all the XP drops have increased slightly. So this definitely is worth to learn. I'll have additional videos. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. But yeah, this video is going longer than I intended. So I'll be ending it here. But thank you guys. Drop a like. Go check out the Rambles on Spotify as well if you guys want to support me over there. I do want to start streaming a little bit more. I think I say this every fucking video because I've been so inconsistent with things. But yeah, I'm going to be streaming a little bit more. So go check me out on YouTube and Twitch as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. And I will continue to be live. So if you're watching this video right now, I'm probably still live doing some sailing. And yeah, so thank you guys on YouTube and peace.